According to the Emerald Tablets, which were written by Thoth the Atlantean, who's actually the son of Enki, okay? So he's actually obviously younger than Enki. He has been around for hundreds of thousands of years. In the Emerald Tablets, he describes going into this chamber underneath the Great Pyramid called the Halls of Amenti. And in this chamber underneath the Great Pyramid, he actually says he's descended 100 times. The Sumerian text is only 6,000 years old as far as we know. So based on that, we'd have to think that these gods, these people, these beings could potentially still be alive, and they could be anywhere. They could be on Earth. There's some of their offspring, because we do know that Enki married or had made it with humans. Thoth also took on a human wife as well. And this bloodline could be still here today propagating. And I really believe that's the bloodline that started the Pharaonic bloodline, which then migrated after the last pyramid war into Arabia and then into Europe. So the bloodline actually evolved over time, but they kept it along a specific route. When it got to Europe, it was the Plantagenet bloodline that is still ruling the planet until this day. And that Plantagenet bloodline is John Lackland's line. John Lackland is the King of England that signed the Magna Carta. But every single...
King John from...
Exactly.
From the Robin Hood legend.
Exactly, yes. And every president of the United States of America is related to John Lackland and that Plantagenet bloodline, which goes back to the Arabian kings, which goes back to the Egyptian pharaohs, which then goes back to the Sumerian kings list in Iraq. Think about that for a minute. The only one president that's not related to that bloodline is Van Buren.
Now, it doesn't help when you put my cousin Dick Cheney, 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 my cousin Dick Cheney in charge of energy policy in the White House. That doesn't help. We've been hiding that for a long time. Everybody's got a black sheep in the family.
So you're for Barack Obama?
No, but I thought I should admit this fact as
Who knew you and Dick Cheney cousins?
You know, listen, I don't think I'm going to family reunion. I don't know how I'll be greeted. But no, you know, these folks have been doing all these genealogies on me, and
Right.
you know, they've found all sorts of strange connections.
This has got to be the strangest, though.
Well, listen, if you go back far enough,
Yeah.
you know, you got all kinds of crooks and thieves in your family.
Early Show national correspondent Tracy Smith has the story of George W. Bush's many relations.
My honor to bring to you the 41st president, a great dad, George H.W. Bush.
We all know his father, but what about his cousins? Check out this family tree, done with research at Ancestry.com.
What would you say if I told you he's related to all of those people?
That you're wrong.
Oh, no, I'm not. Let me take you through this, branch by branch.
The 101st Airborne Division, air assault.
Vice President Dick Cheney, the man who's only a heartbeat away from the presidency, is actually a blood relation. He's President Bush's 9th cousin once removed. Cheney's cousin Barack Obama is also Bush's 11th cousin and the 9th cousin, Brad Pitt. But we're only just getting started. President Lincoln was President Bush's 7th cousin 5 times removed, and Bush shared more than just a ballot with John Kerry. That's right, cousins twice removed.
Really?
What do you think of that?
Yeah, they have the same chin.
There's also royalty in the Bush bloodline. Princess Diana was Bush's 11th cousin twice removed. And then there's this bombshell.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Sure, she may have been singing to JFK, but what about GWB? He is, after all, her 9th cousin.
Maybe it's the eyebrows. You think the eyebrows? They have the same eyebrows?
He's also related to Playboy founder Hugh Hefner, even Pocahontas, and Vlad the Impaler. Trace the family tree far enough, and you get Madonna, Celine Dion.
Fit the bill in every single aspect. If you go to the web pages and you look at the bloodlines of the American presidents, then it is a known fact that all the presidents that have, well, reigned in the United States have all been related. So let's have a look at what the media has to say. If all presidents are related, which of the 2017 candidates will be the next president? As it turns out, both Trump and Hillary Clinton are related to John of Gaunt, a 14th century royal. Gaunt was the first Duke of Lancaster, who was the son of King Edward III, according to MyHeritage. Trump is related through his mother, Mary Ann McLeod, back to his 17th grandfather, John Beaufort, while Clinton is related through her father and the Rodham family back to the 17th great-grandmother, Joan Beaufort. The two candidates are 19th cousins, and so they both have the right bloodlines to continue this lineage. Now, that's another story as to why they should all be related, and it's fascinating that the Bible doesn't speak about the presidents of the world, it speaks about the kings of the world. And it really, over the course of history, hasn't mattered which of the candidates has won, because the candidates have always both been in the same bloodlines. Here are the American presidential bloodlines. Here's another page that explains this. Did you know all 44 US presidents have carried European royal bloodlines into office? 34 have been genetic descendants of just one person, Charlemagne, the brutal 8th century king of the Franks. Now, that's a fascinating story, because Charlemagne is, of course, the one who was crowned emperor of the Roman Empire, the new Roman Empire, and the Pope was crowning him whilst his kingdom was falling apart. So he's a symbol of this unity of the world under one leadership, the papacy. And then if we go to Edward III of England, in fact, the presidential candidates with the most royal genes has won every single American election. Now, it seems as if Trump and Hillary had exactly the same lineage, so it didn't really matter which one of the two won. This information comes from Burke's Peerage, which is the Bible of aristocratic genealogy based in London. Every presidential election in America since and including George Washington in 1789 to Bill Clinton has been won by the candidate with the most British and French royal genes. Of the 42 presidents to Clinton, 33 have been related to two people, Alfred the Great, King of England, and Charlemagne, the most famous monarch of France. So it goes on. 19 of them are related to England's Edward III, and has 2,000 blood connections to Prince Charles. The same goes with the banking families in America. George Bush and Barbara Bush are from the same bloodline, the Pierce bloodline, which changed its name from Percy when it crossed the Atlantic. Percy is one of the aristocratic families of Britain to this day. They were involved in the gunpowder plot to blow up Parliament at the time of Guy Fawkes. Now that's even more fascinating, because that was a Jesuit plot to overthrow the Protestant government in the United States. So if all these bloodlines belong to these individuals that overthrew Protestantism, well, that would be an interesting plot for the puppet masters to work on behind the scenes.
Now, what I want to show here, it absolutely doesn't really matter whether it was Clinton or Trump. And I said that in a video I made like 2-3 months before the election. I would have said that to you 3 years ago. I would have said that to you 10 years ago. Because I've known, and a lot of people do know, that the American presidents have all been part of the monarchy. And here is clearly the evidence that they're happy to tell you